I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Hey, what's happening? Happy Tuesday. Good afternoon and welcome. This is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app, powered by our friends at Happy State Bank. Alongside Jeff McGuire, I'm Chois Woodman. Clint Scott across the way taking care of us. You're welcome to watch us on television, Fox 34 News Now, YouTube, Apple TV, Fire Stick, Roku, whatever you got, however you're listening, watching. We're glad that you've chosen to make us part of your Tuesday. You can take us anywhere. Join the conversation through the Yates Flooring Center chat line there on that 100.7 The Score mobile app, which you can carry anywhere with you. Even listen in if you're out in Looneyville, Texas. Sounds like a Clint Scott type of place. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got softball to talk about. Never thought we'd be spending this much time on softball, but I'm glad to do so because it has been a fun ride thus far. It's the Red Raider softball team now onto the championship. We will get to some more Big 12 conversation as they're getting disrespect again. We'll talk some college football in the month of June. Plenty of things to get into. Ranking of Disney soundtracks? Who knows?
Man, that's tough. Hang on. I'm trying to think of what my top one would be.
You can save it. We'll get to it later. You can save it.
Are you going to get to it in the first hour? Or is that
There's
gonna be a
only
Jamie
one
conversation?
correct answer. I can tell you before we get to the list.
I already know what Clint's correct answer is, and it's not number one on their list.
Which is ridiculous because one is a multi-time winner for popular music.
I think there's two.
Grammy.
Two
one is
possible
Phil
answers.
Collins. That's all I'm going to say.
Elton John. Okay. Elton John's another one, though. So
Elton John would be up. I'm trying to figure out if I go Lion King as my one.
His
if
is Tarzan, by the way.
Tarzan's a great one. I'm not going to knock the soundtrack for Tarzan. It would be in the conversation. Little Mermaid would be in the conversation, and Aladdin would be my top of this list.
Okay. And Oliver and Company.
As much as I enjoy
Billy
Oliver
Joel.
and Company,
I can't even think of the song. I remember there's a "Why Do I Care" in there.
Why do I worry? Why should you worry? Why do I care?
Yeah, there you go.
I think I go Little Mermaid.
Just hold it.
For me personally,
we will
because
get to it in the first hour because I feel like Disney soundtracks is not Jamie's cup of tea. So we'll.
Okay.
His is Pocahontas.
Exactly. So we will get to that coming up.
Pocahontas. "Colors of the Wind" is a good song, but that's about the only thing on the. For Pocahontas.
Savages is a great song.
The river band.
Ooh, Mulan. Ooh, where would I put Mulan? That's
all right. Quit. Freeze.
You started this.
No, I said we will get to it, and then you got two guys that just can't get off of Disney here.
Well, I was just trying to say that I was trying to help with foreshadowing that it should be Phil Collins.
Okay, that's fine. The Red Raider softball team will get to play the Texas Longhorns for a national championship. This is a rare thing around here. So I'm pretty stoked for the opportunity. There's a lot of times where I've kind of had the Jamie approach of, I would like to beat them, but it would feel worse to lose to them.
No.
That doesn't feel like this applies in this situation.
No. You've already beaten, according to the rankings, the better team.
I'm according to history, the better team, 4-time defending champ. So I'm not saying I'm not going to use a phrase from other people around here and say you're playing with house money or anything, but
no, absolutely not.
Because
I don't want to lose the next two.
I'm not sure you're not the best team of the two standing, but man, it to me it's just a cherry on top that it would be Texas if you get this national championship.
Yes, and that's how I would. That's actually probably the perfect way to describe it. Is if you get it, it's the cherry on top that it's over Texas.
Yeah.
Not a having to go through Texas to win the national championship.
Right. It's one of those where, man, because no one's ever done this before. No one has taken their first trip to the College World Series and even made it to the championship game. So you're already there. I was discussing with Chris Level earlier on the Ask Level podcast, which will be posted later this afternoon.
Are you sure?
There's a good chance it will.
Or is it going to be tomorrow morning? No. Don't promise something you can't guarantee.
No, it'll be up today.
Okay.
It will be posted, like maybe even during the duration of the show.
Oh, okay.
But I was talking with him, and I think there is a total of 3 when it comes to times that Texas Tech has played in a national championship game. Now, obviously, you've got national championships in track and field, but
that's a meet, that's a meet, not a game.
Team sports of a actual game, and I know this will be a series, but it's still.
I would count this as the national championship game.
You've done it in 1993 for women's basketball. You've done it in 2019 for men's basketball. And unless I'm missing something, this is just the 3rd time ever that Texas Tech will have played for a national championship. So this is very rarefied air when it comes to.
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. You are in a position you have only been in 2 other times. This is a position that you have gotten close to in some other sports,
sure,
but not achieved. This is a situation where you are 42 outs away. You are 42 outs away from lifting up a major trophy that you can hang on to forever. This is not let's not poo-poo this in any way. You are playing for a national championship starting tomorrow night.
Yeah, and investment well worth it appears. I think you have gone well beyond that point.
You have gotten almost, and if you hoist the trophy, you will have gotten the utmost bang for your buck.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because
even though it's a big buck,
it's a big, but it's not my buck. I don't care.
Exactly.
I
think the people that paid it are pretty ecstatic right now.
And it's not a situation where I will also say if you don't win it, I don't know that they're disappointed.
No, and you're not. This isn't a one-off type of thing either. You're setting yourself up for successes in the future, but you are definitely getting a spotlight when it comes to that sport, but across the nation because of the player that you've got here. But it has been a team effort, as we saw last night, and that was quite a lot of fun. We'll get into that. The game itself, the games to come over the next couple of days, hopefully just 2. Oh, I'm getting greedy. But
I do have a question about it that can never happen, but I want to get y'all's opinion on it. I asked the Morning Drive the same question this morning.
We've got comments and questions on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We'll get to those. Headlines, and have to do it now. We will talk about Disney soundtracks, ranked, according to some guy on the internet. And us. It's the bottom line. Hanging with you till 3 today on 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. This is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. 100.7 The Score mobile app, powered by Happy State Bank. Alongside Jeff McGuire, I'm Chois Woodman. Clint Scott across the way taking care of us. All right, zipping through some of these thoughts because there's a lot of them on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I lost it. The softball team is good enough to get it done. Still a little sour, but let's get it, ladies. That's from Sooner in Lubbock.
Mm-hmm. That's what prompted me to... Because I didn't see him post this morning. He might have, but I missed it.
Choice is worked up today. Have I?
I don't think you're worked up.
I think I was over the top.
Will you calm down?
My bad.
Thank you.
Sorry. How about the guts and guile of Kennedy after she homered? She went back to work, got homered on, pardon me. She went back to work and struck out the next batter right away. Honestly, could have avalanched us, but she stayed cool under pressure. Agreed. I think Nigeri took it as a personal affront. She hasn't given up more than one run most of the games she's pitched. Probably. A correction from Kamo, thanks. Teams have made the championship series, but it's first since OU did it in 2000.
Did you say that?
I said that no one has made it in their first year, but it's been 25 years. My fault. When the girl for OU hit the home run, ESPN had put the graphic up that she had 0 homers. I think that was in postseason play. She had 2 the whole year. Old Razzle Dazzle says, "Dang it, Woodman."
I don't think.
What did I do?
I don't believe in a broadcaster's jinx.
Okay.
Unless they are listening to you. Now, there's a chance that they are listening to us right now because they are not actively getting ready to play a game. I do not think they are listening to us right now. If they can't hear us, it's the tree falling in the woods. Doesn't make a sound.
The crab catch was versus UT when the Red Raiders win the championship. I'm not saying this. It will also be versus UT. But then there's like a zip it choice. I guess I wasn't supposed to read that.
No. What you were...
The jinx stuff?
It was comparing the Crabtree catch because you missed the part where it just got us a third-place finish in the Big 12.
I think it also might be because it does feel like you're actively trying to test the jinx, which this is not the time.
No,
you do that in the middle of the Rangers season.
I did. I was testing the jinx against the Rangers. I haven't done anything for Tech.
I don't know.
He's not guaranteed anything.
I was reading a stat.
Yeah.
Whatever you say.
Choice's sleeve needs to be filled with Dumas ceviche. Okay.
No, it does not.
Gross.
No.
Rotten fish sleeve.
No,
Yum.
we're not. No.
Room temperature fish sleeve.
As the guy who will have to fill in for him when he's in the hospital. No.
Sally Kipiego, hands down, best athlete. Okay. I think, attention, all of these things factor into those conversations, but I'm not arguing anybody.
Sally Kipiego is not considered the greatest long-distance female runner of all time. She is a Tech, but not the greatest. Cheryl Swoops is considered the greatest female basketball player of all time.
She was when she left Tech. I think there's others that are in the conversation now.
Even on the professional level. I mean, she is the Michael Jordan of the WNBA.
She was when she left Tech.
Yeah. I think there are others that have joined that conversation now.
It's not a Michael Jordan now.
Sally Kipiego is not in that conversation.
Okay.
I am not saying that she is bad.
I get your point.
It's a different conversation that Cheryl Swoops is in.
I get the point. Okay. The moment everybody's been waiting for. At least these two people have been waiting for.
I mean, you set it up.
I did.
You didn't have to bring it up.
I didn't have to, but I
you
just
did.
figured.
I want to know the list, Choice. Can you show me?
I will.
I feel like it needs to be on the Yates Florence
All right, so top 10 Disney soundtracks of all time. This is...
Okay, is this all animated?
This is per ranker.com, so I think this is actually people ranking these.
Is this all animated, or is like Mary Poppins on here too?
Technically, Mary Poppins had animation.
It did have animation.
I guess so did Bedknobs.
All of this, I don't know what the rules are, but all of this list, all the top 10 are animated.
Okay.
All right, at 10, Tangled. Never seen it.
I don't know that I've ever heard the soundtrack, but okay.
9, Frozen.
Yeah.
Or are you?
There's a bunch of good ones there.
I can argue it. Overrated.
8, Mulan. Mulan.
That feels a little low.
You turned into a cat there for a second.
Mulan.
That feels a little low.
7, Hercules.
Oh, I overlooked that one.
Man.
That was a huge part of my childhood.
I should be embarrassed.
Let's get down to...
I was thinking, bless my soul, Herc is on a roll.
Oh, that is Mulan.
Zero to Hero. I won't say I'm in love. Yeah, the Hercules. That's a.
I'm impressed with your knowledge.
Damn it.
6, Moana. Agreed.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yep, I don't have a problem with 6. It being 6.
What can I say except you're welcome? Mm-hmm. All right, Clint.
Number 5.
At 5? It's coming in at 5?
I knew it. Tarzan is number 5 according to this list.
Oh, man. I thought when you said that it was coming in like top 3 and I would have actually been okay with it. Ridiculous.
Let's see what's above it.
4, The Little Mermaid.
No.
I mean, Sebastian alone.
3, Aladdin. 2, Beauty and the Beast. Clint is going to die over there. And number 1, The Lion King. Which there are 2 that could be number 1, Tarzan and The Lion King. So I'm okay with that because Elton John, Circle of Life, all of it.
Tarzan is getting dinged because it wasn't made in the early 90s like the rest of those 4 were, which is what, like the golden age?
The new golden age. I mean, you've got the original golden
Mermaid
age.
was actually 89, Aladdin 92, Beauty and the Beast 91, Lion King 94.
Yeah,
Tarzan was 99.
In that stretch, it wasn't there in that early 90s window.
Yeah. Yep. You're probably right. I think people, I think you're right on that. But Tarzan does have a...
I'm a little disappointed Little Mermaid didn't do better, not going to lie.
4 is pretty good.
It is good. And I don't know of the 3 that above it that I would knock out. But when
Beauty
you look
and the Beast. That's the one you knock out. Beauty and the Beast is good, but it's not with the other group. So.
Be Our Guest is a really good one.
Be Our Guest.
See? Beauty and the Beast, sung by Mrs. Potts.
You mean Celine Dion? Oh, sorry.
Do your Celine Dion impression.
Wow.
Buttface, you need to throw a wet paper towel at Choice. Is this for Disney or for...
Probably for the conversation.
It's the jinx.
There is no jinx. I was just saying that you have not trailed in the series yet.
I don't know, man. You seem pretty worked up today.
Buddy? Pal? Okay.
Tarzan stinks. The soundtrack doesn't.
I was bringing up the you haven't trailed because...
It is a stat. It is, in fact, a fact.
I think this may be crazy to SEC people, especially people like Jim Schlossnagle, who says it's harder to win the SEC than it is to win a national championship, even though his team got bounced in the first round. I think that the 2 best teams, like there are tournaments where one of the best ones gets bumped.
Yes.
I think the 2 best teams in the country, at least the ones that are playing the best right now, are playing for a national championship.
Since we got to the Women's College World Series, I thought Texas and Oklahoma and Tech, and I would put Oklahoma in that category as well. I thought that was 1, 2, 3 in some order of who was going to win the championship. I don't know that that's a stretch when you look at the talent that was there, but you are down to the 2 teams after the first couple of days. I was like, yeah, these are the 2 teams that are should end up in the championship.
I think the teams that are pitching at the best, I think you're just seeing these 2, and sometimes it is the hottest team, but I don't think Tech has been a hot team necessarily, unless you're counting the last 40 games of the season, 30 games of the season as hot. When I think of a hot team, I think of like 10 to 15 games.
I mean, they are surface of the sun hot, though.
Sure.
Because their last loss was when?
BYU. In the last series after you had already sealed the Big 12.
Yeah.
Wait. Was that BYU? You sealed the Big 12 championship?
I thought you sealed it against Arizona State, and then you just played BYU to end the season.
Did they sweep BYU? I can't remember.
No, they didn't sweep them.
They lost 1 to BYU. I mean, this one's really good.
I'm not going to interrupt this. That's
really
just rude.
Good. What does that mean? All right. We'll let this play out. Get some more of your thoughts, reactions to Disney songs, as well as softball. Coming up next, and we'll give you a word of the day next as well. It's the bottom line on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It's a Tuesday with the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, WTSportsNetwork.com, 100.7 The Score mobile app. We're watchable on TV, Fox 34 News Now, YouTube. However, wherever you're taking us in from, old-fashioned on the 950 AM dial. We're thrilled that you've happened to come across us today, intentionally or unintentionally. Jamie Lint to my right. I'm Chois Woodman. Clint Scott back behind the glass taking care of us. Y'all are more than welcome to join the conversation. You got thoughts, comments, questions, reactions to a pretty fun night last night in Oklahoma City. All of it welcome on the Yates Flooring Center chat line through that 100.7 The Score mobile app, which you can carry anywhere with you, even listen in out in Atlanta, Missouri.
Okay.
Jamie.
Yes, Choice.
We've been talking a lot of softball, as you can probably imagine.
Understandably so.
So you got your Under Armour softball shirt on. That's good.
It's
pullover.
Under Armour baseball. Thank you.
It's got a plate on it, like a little.
Yeah, and they have plates in baseball too.
I just thought you were supporting softball right now. It's okay to do that.
Sorry, I don't have any softball clothes.
Okay. I think they're the same.
Okay.
I think that logo will work both ways. There's a lot of jokes there. We're going to leave them alone. Jamie, we have also talked Disney soundtracks, if you want to chime in on that.
Yeah, I was listening when you guys got onto that subject, and then I flipped to 80s on 8.
Okay. I thought that might be the case. That was rude. You can't even just bear with us for a little bit?
Disney soundtracks? I'm really not good.
You don't even go to another regular radio station? You're killing us for satellite radio?
Yeah.
Gosh!
Those are like my two go-tos, right?
Yeah, I know they are.
Our radio stations and 80s on 8. Yeah. And
if we're boring you to death.
If it's a subject that I have no opinion on or I'm not, knowledgeable about it, then okay. I was basically sitting there listening to you guys talk in a foreign language that I don't understand.
You don't understand Tarzan?
Well,
no, you probably think of Chuck with the shirt off.
I don't know any of the songs.
So.
I don't know any of the songs. I couldn't mention any of them. I don't know.
That's okay. Well, Little Mermaid you should have got because that was in the 80s.
I don't think I've seen Little Mermaid, Choice.
I had a physical therapist who was a huge Little Mermaid fan.
Here we go.
They helped work on Disney.
Jamie, were you allowed to have fun? Were you one of those religions growing up that
were you allowed to have fun?
No fun at all? Have you seen a Disney movie?
Yeah. I don't remember. I don't. I'm not going to remember the music in Disney movies. I'm not going to remember the music in hardly any movies. I can remember all the music in Karate Kid because it's all 80s music.
I remember those kids growing up, Jamie, where we would have the class party.
Are you allowed to have fun?
Well, I remember those kids growing up where you have the class party. Clint probably went to too small of a school for this, but
and they couldn't participate in
they
had
to go in the hallway when we have a Christmas party
or Halloween when we dressed up.
Yeah, it's I'm like, man, that is terrible. I'm starting to picture you as a kid like that.
No, I had all the fun.
I don't know if you were allowed to have fun.
Maybe too much fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
We'll get into Jamie's favorite subject, how the Big 12's getting the shaft again today. So
more SEC bias, right?
Of course, why not? I just
can we just play last week's show?
Well, because this is a new
this is
direction
on
it. It's the same stuff, but new direction. We might talk about that. We'll see. Softball sounds more fun than talking about that. Someone did ask the question a moment ago, which I got called a jinx again today. I brought up a stat that I thought was just telling of how Texas Tech has been playing. You haven't trailed yet in the postseason at all. That's not a jinx stat, right? I'm. That doesn't count as jinxing.
I don't know. It just feels like if it came from Clint, people wouldn't say it, but since it came from you,
it's not.
People just assume it's a jinx. Yeah,
that's what I've been saying this whole that whole first hour.
I've written.
You build up equity one way or another, Choice.
I have written it into recap stories more than once up to this point, and it never jinxed us. So I think we're okay. This question from the chat line: what are your thoughts on the bracket crossover component of the Women's College World Series? Seems like it evens out the two brackets.
Love it.
So you would want to see this in Omaha?
Yes, absolutely. It just play different teams.
That's where I like it.
Yeah.
I do feel like it.
It has the potential to do what the texter suggested, and what it did this year was kind of level it out or whatever. But yeah, I love it. I think it's great.
Overall, I do like it. This particular year, because I did not. I mean, being honest, I didn't know existed before this year.
Mm-hmm.
This year, it helped out either Texas or Oklahoma, and really helped out the SEC because you had 4 teams on one side of the bracket. But it wouldn't do that every year. So I'm with you. I would love to see this in Omaha. And for the exact reason you just stated, you can mix it up. I don't like that you go to Omaha and basically you go to Omaha and it's 2 alienated brackets. You don't see anybody until a championship. It's
almost like they're not in the same city.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're coming together with 2 champs. Yeah.
So I like that there's some crossover there, and I like the potential for it. So, yeah, I'm in.
I'm a fan. Mm-hmm.
And I'm more of a fan because it did work out last night, and you beat Oklahoma. Because when I saw it initially, I'm like,
we would have beat Tennessee too.
Yeah. I would hope so. I mean, it went very well. So, do you think Texas Tech is? You said this yesterday. You think Texas Tech's the best team remaining?
I do.
I mean,
I do.
Obviously, you said it before.
I said it like day one.
Yeah, you said it
after watching the first day of games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like the hipster version of.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say I was ahead of the curve. I'm just saying I looked at the teams and I'm like, I think you passed the eyeball test.
Do you think Texas is the clear
number 2?
Number 2.
Yeah, close with Tennessee is the other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I think Texas, the way they've played, I think you have clearly got the 2 best teams playing for a national championship, at least best since the postseason has started. And I think those 2, we don't always get that in tournament format. Sometimes teams get upset, better teams get upset, have a bad weekend, whatever. I think you've got the 2 best hanging around, and you got a chance to do something extremely rare. And we were trying to dig, and I believe it is the case that you are only playing for your 3rd national championship ever when we're talking about team sports. Not track and field, because that's a meet format, but in terms of games,
it's a meet format.
MEET. Just say it, Clint.
Horse name.
Thank you. I was waiting on it.
Is this a butcher? No, this is a meat format.
How do we spell that one?
Yeah, I was thinking you were referencing something about meat judging team. Yeah. There's one national championship.
Well, we've got plenty of those.
Yeah.
No, but
they would understand how to run a meat
in
format.
terms of
a meat format. Yeah.
Here's your steaks. Here's pork.
National championship games. You've done this once in men's basketball, once in women's basketball, and now in softball. So this is amazing that you've gotten here, and hopefully not done. It's the bottom line. Continue more of this next on 100.7 Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. It is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. 100.7 The Score mobile app. Y'all keep chiming in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, as many of you have. We appreciate all the participation thus far. Old Razzle Dazzle says, where are we watching the game tomorrow? News teams assemble. He went all caps on all this too. I think that'd be a great thing for the listener league to all get together. Watch it.
Yeah.
Put together a place.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. This from the chat line. I'm calling BS on anyone sneezing with eyes open. Okay. I spew everything everywhere.
Feels like that's impossible, but I don't know. There are people out there that can do crazy things.
It's because it is impossible.
It's not. I can do it.
I don't think
I stopped myself from sneezing earlier.
And you've had opportunities. It's like if I were like, I can actually fly a short distance. You're like, prove it. I'm like,
no, I
don't want to.
Do you believe in the trick to press your finger under your nose to stop yourself from sneezing? Like cartoon style.
I don't know that I believe yay or believe nay.
Okay. Well, I definitely did that a little bit ago to stop myself, and then.
How did you know Choice and I's rapping duo name, Yay and Nay?
Yay and Nay.
Yeah.
Does this question, I think, came up on the morning drive? Probably same texter says, does the 1 year turnaround for our softball team put added pressure on Joey McGuire and the football team? Short answer, no, because they already have pressure. Do you have any other answers?
I'm just not sure if there was much more room for more pressure. But I do think that it maybe confirms the expectation that you can make a huge impact by going truly all in, not using NIL, going all in on NIL and go, okay, well, that worked for softball, so we know what you did in the offseason for football. We're expecting greatness from you too. But I think that was already there.
I feel like it puts absolutely no more on them. I would feel like if, say, Baylor, Oklahoma State, TCU were in similar situations to us in football, and they took major steps forward and we didn't, that would put more pressure on Joey McGuire and the football team than what your softball team is doing, which is a completely different situation.
It is.
Where you can have one player dominate the game, dominate the sport. You cannot buy the greatest football player in the country and think that means you're going to compete for the national championship.
Yeah.
You can put the greatest softball player in the country with some good players and absolutely feel like you can compete for a national championship.
I don't want to act...
If she's a pitcher.
Yeah, I don't want to act like Nigeri Kennedy is not the main reason you're here, because it is the main reason you're here. But I do think we undersell, and I'm as guilty of this as anything, the impact of the teammates around her. Because last night was an example of that. Obviously, Nigeri Kennedy's pitching you into a situation to win. I mean, she's setting it up where you're having a chance to win that game, but it was others that go get it done early in the game and later in the game. Nigeri Kennedy's been to the College World Series twice before and not won it, and not gotten to the championship series. So I do think we...
You've scored 7 runs in 3 games. You're where you are because of Nigeri Kennedy. Your defense has been really good behind her.
Sure.
You've come up with clutch hitting. But she's given up 3 runs in 3 games. I mean,
I'm
not trying to
I said it's the main reason, but
the point of this was that you can do that in softball so much easier than you can do that in football. So much, as far as one player can dominate the game. It's easier to turn things around. Yeah, way easier than softball than it is. So that's why I feel like what's going on in softball does not put any pressure on Joey McGuire.
And I agree with you in that. I do agree with you in that. I think what you said with the other teams that had similar seasons to you last year, if they take a step forward and you don't, that's more pressure than if Baylor does or if TCU does.
Well, for example, I think what TCU has done in recent years, what Oklahoma State did for a long stretch, has put more pressure on the Tech football program than what your softball program or your men's basketball program.
I think the pressure with football is just that you haven't even been there. You haven't been to that peak of your league, not the peak of the sport, the peak of your league ever. You've never been there. And I think there's a movement by donors and others where it's like, okay, it's time. And that's the pressure that is with that. Because everybody else can, at least, not everybody, but most of your peers that you feel like you're at the same level with or should be at the same level with, the Oklahoma States, the TCUs, the Baylors, they've all at least done it once. And they've all at least been to that Big 12 title game or won the Big 12 title game. So I think that's where the pressure sits for this football team.
I would also argue that there's like examples in the same sport that have nothing to do with your program that set expectations, like what Ohio State did.
Sure.
They're the first ones, which, by the way, I thought it was funny that we never really heard from like the masses, like, oh, they bought a championship, which is like everyone's favorite thing to say in the softball world right now.
Correct.
For Tech. No one really said that outside of maybe, I don't know, like Oregon, since they got throttled by them, but that was more sour grapes than anything. And they went all in on NIL. And this is exactly what I think Texas Tech does. Maybe not quite to the national championship level, but we expect to win the Big 12. We expect to be in Arlington. We expect to be competing for a spot in the playoff, where they put the pressure on themselves and they didn't hide like what they were doing with NIL and why they were doing it. So I would say you have more of an example of, well, look what they did and how they used NIL, and it turned into success, and it helped Ohio State, who again is a blue blood, but helped them get over the hump of winning a national championship. Your hump that you're trying to get over, the monkey on your back, a little bit smaller and a little bit different, but still you're trying to do that same format where you take this big step forward through NIL.
I think that's a really good example.
The jump that you took, that Ohio State took in football, who was already a high spender, was not nearly as massive as the jump that Texas Tech made in softball with the amount of spending compared to what it previously was.
Yeah.
Whereas Ohio State, you kind of expect that from them. Texas Tech, it came from nowhere.
It does feel like you've come from nowhere somewhat in football, though. I mean, I know that you've spent money, but it wasn't what you're doing right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've made a similar jump in softball and football in your programs.
Well, you haven't made the jump on the field in football.
No. Yeah.
You've made the jump in
financial
in football.
Backing. Yeah.
Commitment, yeah.
Yep. So I respect the question. I absolutely do. But I just don't think – I think it is an apples and oranges thing.
Yeah, I just think it's so different to build a football team compared to building a softball team, if that's the word you want to use.
Now, that being said, if you do have a season that goes awry next year, I 100% expect there to be at least some portion go like, softball knew what they were doing with NIL. Why don't you know what you're doing with NIL? That is going to be on there.
That's just uneducated and somewhat ignorant.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying.
Yes.
I've heard the winning call multiple times today, and still fantastic, especially Nikki going full fan mode in the background.
Love the passion.
The next one says, the rest of the team backed her up, not only on offense but defense too. The dive by Allred to get the out first was great, but 90% due to Nyjah. Another one says, I think the added pressure is on the baseball program. From where? I don't know where's the pressure coming from, because I guess that's where this whole pressure conversation, we love to bring that up lately, and rightfully so, but where's the pressure being applied from? Because there's pressure that's applied from an athletics director, there's pressure that's applied from a fan base, and I think now there's pressure that's applied from donors. I think there's all three of those things. So where is the pressure being applied from? Because I don't think there's a ton of pressure being applied in baseball right now.
Can there be pressure on baseball donors?
If you're going to have,
that would be helpful.
Again, if you're going to have expectations on the baseball program like you have on the softball program, there needs to be a commitment to the backing and financial part of it.
Yeah.
Right now, it's nowhere close. And in my opinion, because of that, you should you should change your expectations.
Yep.
Now, Tim Tadlock doesn't want to change his expectations, but that's because he's a competitor, just like anybody else who competes. But, I mean, reality, and unless there's more financial backing, you have to change expectations.
It's the bottom line on 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the bottom line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Y'all continue to chime in. Appreciate all the comments so far on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I just received one of the biggest insults I've ever received from Chuck Hines.
Oh, yeah? He called you...
I don't know.
Heavy arms, too?
Well, heavy legs is
Heavy
fine.
torso?
I mean, Chuck's delusion is fine a lot of times, but I don't understand this one. Why? I got a text at the end of the last segment that says, very crisp beard of you. And
that's hateful.
It is hate speech.
To be honest, when you were talking about how much you respect things, I thought the same thing.
I think I just said I respect the question, is all I said. And that is probably a line straight out of Chris Beard's playbook, but not intentional at all.
Nobody respects
Chuck.
that text from Chuck more than me.
Gosh dang it, Chuck. I was having a pretty good day, too.
I'm sorry, Chois.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Let's get to a question.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day on 100.7 The Score. Brought to you by someone not named Jamie and presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard, your water shouldn't be.
All right, Jamie.
Yes, Choicer.
If you could choose any opponent, and you can't answer baseball, but if you could choose any opponent that you would want to play in a national championship game and pick the sport outside of baseball for you, who would it be? Because Texas Tech and Texas are squaring off in softball. And I mentioned it earlier. This doesn't have the feeling of, oh man, I hate to lose to them that sometimes you get that feeling with, but you get to pick the opponent. Who is it in what sport?
For a national championship.
For a national championship. I mean, we're talking.
Taking the Texas Tech Red Raider football team against the 2025 or 2024 Kent State football team.
I was going to do the same thing.
I knew this.
I was going to do the same thing.
I hate. Why can't you play along?
Yeah, this year's version of Texas Tech versus last year's version of North Texas.
Yeah, I just want us to win.
Throw the
Okay.
competition part out.
Okay. I heard you say this earlier, and it had me scratching my head a little bit. Because this to me on tomorrow, Thursday, Friday means nothing. The Longhorn thing means nothing.
Because you normally are. Oh man, I'd hate to lose to this.
Yes, I mean it does not matter to me who it is right now in this situation.
Because that you're there.
It's a national championship. Or it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, the jubilation is going to be phenomenal. The heartbreak is going to be horrible.
Yep.
Okay? One way or the other. I don't care who it is.
I think... I think...
That being said, it probably would be tougher if it was like the Aggies or TCU baseball or whatever.
I think the jubilation can get higher. I don't think the heartbreak gets lower.
Yeah, that might be fair.
I
don't know.
I think it's a cherry... Like I said earlier, I think it's a cherry on top if you win. It's over the Longhorns.
Yeah. Okay, so...
And you can give your baseball answer also.
No,
in addition to.
I'll take football. That's fine.
Okay.
I'll stick with your rules. I'm a rule follower. Been accused.
Since when?
When do I not follow the rules? Hit the baby.
This that was perfect timing. When do you not follow the rules? Well, this was technically supposed to be Jamie's question of the day, so.
And there was a ruling made yesterday that I didn't have to do it today.
By you.
It was agreed upon by all three of us.
Okay.
So Texas Tech football. And I think I would want it to be against Notre Dame. Because that's a huge name. It would give you huge national respect and interest and all the above. Yeah, I don't know any Notre Dame people that could rub it in if we lost.
Rob actually grew up a Notre Dame fan.
He did.
Rob who?
Who? Young Robbie.
Rubber toe.
Who?
Who?
Nope, we already used that one yesterday.
Twice, actually.
No, I wasn't talking about owls. I don't know if this character you guys
Notre Dame would
of.
be good. That'd be a sweet one.
Is this back to the grounded mammal thing again?
Golly.
I don't like that we had the exact same answer, and I'm not even going to change it because I have a different reason.
Okay.
At first, I was going, okay, do I want it to be Texas Tech versus Clemson because they have been the cream of the crop in the ACC, and they're not the SEC, and they're not the Big Ten, and Choice's bias, I agree with on this. I want them to do horribly in the playoff. And I was like, well, I don't necessarily want the ACC to do that well either, even though they're kind of an ally right now. So who's the easiest pick? I also don't want to go group of 5 because then I feel like everything would be thrown out the window for the Big 12.
But Notre Dame, real one this year. Yeah.
Notre Dame is the perfect opponent for it because they don't have any allegiances when it comes to the conference side of things. They are a staple for football. They've been there recently. Kind of like last year, all of that is the perfect fit in the perfect world if you're going from one, supporting the Big 12 and their run and getting some, I guess, more recognition as a conference. And then it also doesn't help someone else on your level, but it also, even more importantly, does not help the highly lofted SEC and Big Ten. And on top of it, it is a big brand, which is really fun. So I just think that's a perfect situation.
He wins the point.
Clint wins the
He
point.
explained it very well.
Yeah. His reasoning was better.
Y'all had the same answer, though.
Yeah, but his reason was better.
Mine was, I actually think you might have convinced me, so you do win the point, because I might come over to that. Notre Dame was one of my first thoughts. Ohio State's it for me. I mean, there is an arrogance that comes with them that would be sweeter, and I think I do want it to be a brand. If you were to win a national championship, I want you to win over a brand because I don't want there to be any question that you earned it, deserved it, whatever. So Ohio State's there. Notre Dame's in that conversation. I mean, you can pick a slew of SEC teams that would work for that, but
I think my second answer would be Clemson.
Yeah.
I think same reasoning, but I'm still drifting away.
You would
from
still
the
get the
Big Ten
brand,
and
and you would keep the other two big conferences out. So.
And I feel like that way they would go, oh, it's from the ACC. Of course it was Clemson.
Yeah. So, okay, now what would be your baseball answer? Who would be the team you would want to face in a national championship?
Not
the Aggies.
Not the Aggies, Longhorns, Cowboys, or TCU. I really do not think I would handle the anxiety very well.
I don't think you would either. Jamie would be an absolute wreck leading up to that. You wouldn't show it that much, but we don't know it.
So it would probably be maybe like a Vanderbilt in baseball.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
I would like that one.
Yeah. I mean, when the rivalry thing, like the super regional against Oklahoma State, I mean, that Sunday, I remember after the game was over, like all of a sudden, like having a terrible stomach ache and realizing I've not eaten today because I couldn't eat. Like it was that.
Oh my goodness.
I was that nervous about losing to that team.
I get it.
Yeah.
I do. And
I think that's what's the most anxiety I've ever had over a sporting event, maybe.
Yeah. Yet what's funny is I can't stand the Longhorns because I'm with you on all that. I can't stand the Longhorns in anything. But if you lose in the national championship game, it's going to sting. If you win, I do think there is just a little extra elation that comes with it.
Surprised you didn't take like Wisconsin or Iowa State or Colorado. The other team wouldn't even show up.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.